Welcome to Men of War Assault Squad 2. My name's Anuki, and by the way, this game is on a 50% off sale right now on Steam. There's a link in the description if you want an unbelievable epic amount of unpredictability and destruction, explosions, single player or multiplayer, then it's well worth checking out. To the game though, this is Village. It's a free-on-free fight between the Germans and the Americans. We'll be seeing the battle from the Germans' point of view, so prepare to see plenty of intolerance for their enemies. On the left-hand side, we have Hanzi. He'll be fighting in this forest/factory open ground area. Plenty of different environments on that side of the map. In the middle, Oyadi, supported by Hanzi, with the motorcycle going straight to the middle. This seems to be a very popular opening right now on Assault Squad 2, is to bring these light vehicles out. In fact, a lot of light vehicles, especially from the British. No Brits in this game though, so we don't have to worry too much about that. On the right-hand side, SFA Cowboy, yeah, like, you know, there's many ways you can say that name. We've already got fighting in the center, as expected, but Oyadi's just kind of plonking down sandbags right now. He doesn't even care that there's bullets flying past his guys. You know, they said they'd be fine to intercept that grenade. They were okay with that when they appeared on the map. Chinito and Demon. Demon is flanking from the right-hand side, and Chinito just taking it up right from the front. He looks like he's in a really good position to actually start securing this middle flag point. That's a lot of casualties for the Germans at the moment. Now, it's okay because the MG34 is still alive for the Germans, but it needs infantry to actually move up into the zone and spot for it. It needs eyes to be able to see those targets and shoot at them. Overall, it's still a loss for the Germans, but they still hold those valuable key assets. We just need to surround it with pawns. Demon, once again, trying his hand at just flanking. He wants that bike. I know he wants that bike. He may not have got it, but it was still well worth the risk. It's just an odd pathing that this bike is taking right now. I guess it's trying to demonstrate its sweet, sick driving skills. What Hanzi wants to do with this, I'm not incredibly sure, but he's going to get it in the bushes. I feel like he wants these targets on the left-hand side of the village. Just kind of struggling, though, to move it through that archway. He could have lost that, but didn't. How that bike plans to survive like an extra 5 seconds. Over on the left, though, Hanzi is moving out his infantry. This could be risky. It's pure open field out here, and that one guy already gets 2 kills. There's plenty of wall cover. Don't just run out into the open. Make sure you are using your cover, moving up cover to cover. Now the grenades come in. It seems like the Americans have a fantastic position on this side. They need to get some sandbags down over there. They literally have nothing to advance on that, except a hill. This is going to be a supreme grenade. The Germans start to scatter. Only one falls to the grenade. The guy in the back on the American side tosses the grenade away from it and jumps away. Nice moves. We do have sandbags down on that right-hand flag point too. That will secure him for a good, strong few minutes at the very least, buying as much time as possible. Just going with the overhead view now to see the positions of some of these soldiers. It's a nice contrast you can see between Chinito and Oyadi. At the moment, we've got sandbags going down from Chinito as well. Demon, again, continually pressuring this area. But going back to the contrast, Chinito has his forces spread out, and at the very start of the game, Oyadi just kind of tried to plonk down a load of sandbags. As the Germans arrive slightly later to the middle of the map because their units are more expensive, so they have to kind of wait. And, you know, the Americans were already there, they were already waiting. There was no time for sandbags, and that was costly. Similarly, though, Chinito was able to position his soldiers all around the map. Demon was able to flank, and this has given them a strong start. They still haven't captured this flag point, but they are certainly in control, or more in control, of this area. Oyadi doesn't care, though. He's a sandbag man through and through. He just wants to sit there, build his sandcastles, and then these very angry Americans getting extremely jelly, causing him no end of troubles. How many Germans must die for a sandcastle? Beautiful positioning again from Chinito. Looks like we got some pressure on by an M20 over on the west side, of the map. And it doesn't even look like Demon's invested any time into just putting some sandbags down. It's been full-on, non-stop aggression. A Luke's has been called to the battlefield from Cowboy. Cowboy is such a great name. How could you not put the O and a Y at the end of that? In comes it. It should knock out that M20 with relative ease. Yeah, the first shot which connects, totally dominated. Now, there is still a 50 cal there that they could rip off and use against that Luke's. However, I don't think Calb is gonna be falling for that one. In the middle, we've got a Greyhound from Chinito, using the buildings as cover, gunning down a load of Hansi's troops behind this wall. There doesn't seem to be a counter on the field. No bazookas, no vehicles, no AT guns. AT guns apparently spectacularly terrible. But this Greyhound is getting ever closer. It is risking it. It could be hit by an AT grenade. You can see some German soldiers trying to run out there, but the infantry cover is pretty damn excellent. And now the Greyhound is just going to go ahead and chase them down back into the forest with you. Now coming over into the middle side of the map, Oyada is just being flanked. Those sandbags aren't going to be very good when something comes in from the side. Now we have a Panzer III on the field. This will wreck the Greyhound, undoubtedly. The trees will also provide excellent obscurity. We're going to run over those sandbags. And I believe that Greyhound is not going anywhere. The Luke's managing to take out the M20, managing to take out the Greyhound. It's good that the Luke's decided to come over here. It's bad that he decided to fully destroy it, though. Maybe they could have salvaged some stuff from that. Had they not, they could have had themselves a Greyhound. Nah, probably not from where it was positioned. The enemy would have destroyed that before that had a chance to be captured. We've got an AT grenade running, but no, he doesn't make it in time. He gets hit by a hail of gunfire. There's still plenty of infantry around here. This Luke's needs to quickly make use of the little time it has to destroy those sandbags. Importantly, though, it needs to be not hit by any bazooka soldiers, any AT grenades. It's going to start destroying that school building, which I think is a wise choice. There's a lot of insurgents hiding inside of there. The Luke's providing excellent cover. It should be able to take a lot of these guys out behind the sandbags, and if it moved up ever so slightly more, it should be able to knock out the sandbags as well. It's sometimes not enough just to kill the infantry there, but to get the sandbags too is critical. This game is so close. Oh, hang on, we got a grenade coming in. The Luke's moves out of the way. 1 point so far for the Americans. The Germans are holding this point at the moment. They should get this. They need to knock out those sandbags, like I've mentioned before. There's a lot of hard buildings over there that the Luke's will not be able to destroy. Scorched Earth tactics is what is known as destroying your enemy's cover. This is where the J has resided. It is hiding in the forest. Well, it's definitely revealed now. We've got a group of infantry moving up on the left-hand side as well. Kind of a little bit too grouped, I would say. As Stuart now on the field. Stuart is kind of similar. Oh, we got a bazooka, which tracks the second shot. He's standing up. He's not as accurate as he might have been if he was crouched. That could have changed everything. Standing up with a rocket launcher is going to reduce his accuracy. He does get the track, though. That's pretty neat. The Stuart tank is still going to have difficulty actually trying to flank that, though. We've got an M3 light AT gun. The Luke's main gun is damaged. That looks incredibly inoperable. That is... I mean, it's not fully destroyed. It's still salvageable. It's repairable. It's going to have a lot of holes in, but... You know, holes make rounds pass straight through. That's a defensive mechanism. Surprised to see an AT gun there from Demon. A Stuart tank also prioritizing to go for the Luke's and try and finish that off. Rather than try and get in a good position to take out the Panzer III J on the left. It is only tracked, though. It's superficial repairs. That'll be repaired reasonably quickly. We do have a bazooka dropped here, though, which if someone, just anyone... Absolutely, it doesn't matter, Germans, Americans, even if it's a civilian, those bazookas are valuable assets that you don't even have to pay for. You may as well take them, and the ammo, it is free stuff. Oh, I see an M4 Sherman on the field from Sinto. I don't believe I introduced Sinto. Welcome to the game. Those repairs just in time for the Panzer III J to actually start backing off back into the forest. It will, I mean, if it stops firing, stops producing so much sound signatures, it should disappear back into the fog of war. But it's gonna carry on firing. It's gonna try and actually penetrate that front armor. I don't believe the J is gonna be capable of doing that. Certainly, the Sherman has the upper hand advantage in a straight frontal fight. The Germans may have been sitting a little bit too comfortably for the past minute of the game, but now the Americans are counterattacking, and they're counterattacking with surprisingly heavier tanks that the Germans are fielding right now. We do have some sandbags down, which is good stuff. That will hold off some infantry for some time being. We need some MGs behind there, though. Those are the super defensive weapons. Those are the key unit for the German army. We have some Brandenburger out right now. That's fine. These guys are hero units. They will be able to definitely hold this line. Together like this, though, whilst there's a Sherman facing them, staring at them dead in the eye, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with that. The Stuart coming around the side of this building is going to try and knock out some of these guys, some of these sandbags as well. Good moves. Absolutely terrific moves with this light, mobile tank. The tides will once again be turning, though. There is a H on the field now. That Stuart's going to have to be alert. They could bring this H over to the left-hand side of the map to deal with that Sherman. The H stands a good chance against that. Kalb saying that he's going to have a H in 50 points time. He has to be thinking about this very, very carefully. If you have one of something and that can be destroyed by anything that the enemy has, then they can destroy, you know, the two of that same thing that you have. You have to be dangerously careful. And that seems to be the case. We got an M19 out on the field too. This is a pretty damn effective unit for taking out sandbags, long range, and any infantry behind them. We've got some infantry moving up. Demon is going to use that M19 to provide cover whilst these guys hopefully crawl up and toss some grenades over the sandbag line. We do get a response to this, though. These infantry from Kalb just creep over the sandbags. That guy's not creeping over the sandbags. He's definitely AT grenaded. A bit of an overkill on that. I don't know, maybe he thought he was like some kind of Robo-German. Oh, I watched RoboCop. It was good. The new one, 2014. Hooray! And speaking of hoorays, actually, I've not heard a lot of hoorays from the American army. In Assault Squad 1, that's pretty much all the Americans said is hooray. Like, you could toss grenades at them and they'd be like, hooray! They was far too excited. That was a damn good track shot. Straight through the building. Like, straight through the doors of the building. That Sherman was able to get a track shot. The H is coming up here. The H actually has to be careful. I believe that the M19 is actually capable of destroying a H. It's like the H could just back away. The more distance this H has from the M19, the better. It gets a shot on the turret, I believe. It doesn't look like it's done much damage, though. That still seems like it's live and kicking. Crew injured. That's a much better result. That's a kind of result that we were hoping for. With it being stunned. And then turret damage there. These sandbag lines are still kind of being grenaded, though, from enemy infantry. The Stuart tank still in the same location. We got like 2 H's out here, and we're still struggling to take out the Stuart tank. The M19 has been dealt with. And the reason why the Stuart tank is not dying right now is because that road, it's a hill, basically. It's curvature. The guns of the H's can't actually shoot through the hills to get to the Stuart. The Stuart doesn't... The Stuart just goes for it. It goes for the guys behind that M18 Greyhound Corps. It runs over that guy just in case he came back to life or something. Double tap is a good rule, especially on tanks. The amount of times that people do not finish off tanks' corpses, those tanks get repaired, and then that tank will knock out an enemy tank. It can cost the game. That Sherman is still firing at this Panzer III J. Will the Stuart actually come round for it? It could potentially do this. The H's are on the right-hand side of the map. Don't underestimate the range of the tanks, though. Brandenburgers would have been a good, excellent target to take out. That would have helped Sinto advance on this side. These infantry are probably the main cause of concern at the moment because that Panzer III J is suppressed. And actually, it looks kind of painful from the American side. They are taking a lot more fire. The Stuart tank has infiltrated the back line. It The guy's trying to run to the tank to repair it. I believe the turret is damaged. The Stuart tank is going to take out 2 H's. This is pretty incredible play from Chinito and this M5 Stuart. It explodes. It's so glorious. And now he's coming for the infantry behind. Will he be able to dodge any of the AT grenades? Oh, it's close. Oh, he does. He does dodge the first one. HE high explosive rounds into the infantry. There is still a tank right here. I believe he manages to kill that guy before he gets in. No. There's still a guy inside there. There is not a guy inside there. That was a lock-on round. Now, this is something you can do with tanks, even if they are fully decrewed. You can initiate a self-destruct. Chinito gets one of his soldiers outside of his Stuart, and it crews it. He's gonna take away that self-destruct. He is now in command of this H, although only one guy is operating the tank. The rules of tanks are as follows. You need a driver, you need a gunner, and a loader. That's basically the 3 necessary components for a tank. You can't rotate the gun around if you've only got 2 guys in, and one of them's a driver and one of them's the loader. Like, if you fired a round inside a tank, you have to then have someone to load the round in the tank, and therefore that gunner becomes the loader rather than the guy that operates the turret. So there's a whole system inside the tank that, you know, have to work. Chinito's actually going to repair the tank here. Now, Demon has moved up to secure this zone. He's taken full advantage of that Stuart tank completely wrecking this. And this could be a significant move for the American army. This is going to allow so much to happen for them. They've managed to push even further to the German side of the map. We're getting dangerously close to the spawn now. The Germans, there's like a whole German squad here in a staggered column formation. This is not ideal. The American forces have moved up. They've taken cover. They've taken really good positions. This Panzer IV is completely exposed. There's nothing for it to hide behind. We don't know what could be coming up in the fog of war. We do know, however, there is a crocodile on the field right now. This is like the Flame Dramon tank. It takes a shot. We got a good Zook there. A fine Panzer Shrek. He runs in. He manages to get the round off. He runs back out. He stays alive. And now that crocodile is no more. We don't have to worry about that crocodile for now. This infantry is still having problems, though. There's no cover back here. There's a hill, though. There's a hill. That counts as cover, but there's no vision over the top. We can toss grenades over there, but the vision is a problem. We need to know where that infantry is, specifically to be able to toss grenades over there successfully. You know, make those grenades meaningful. We have a Stug over on the left field. Stugs were incredibly deadly in the first one. I'm not sure what that just took out. I just missed it. But it creeps back into the fog of war. There is another crocodile on the field. There is another. We have triple crocodiles on the field. The crocodile is a hero unit as well for the Americans. Crocodiles flourish in urban environments and environments which are kind of hilly. You want to get the flames over there to allow your infantry just to creep over and start, you know, getting some good shots off. Maybe plonking down some sandbags on the hill. They are good at that. They still are vulnerable to Zooks. They are highly flammable when they just detonate, and they explode into huge balls of fire. I love it. They're probably... That and the Churchill crocodile for the Brits are beautiful to see when they explode. But my question is the crocodile really... Oh, burn. Hull damage there. It does get taken out from the side. As I was saying, though, is the crocodile really a suitable choice? And 3 of them? Remember what I said earlier about if you've got 2 of something, then that one of whatever the enemy has, if it can take 1 thing out, it can definitely take 2 things out. So I believe that we're going to see all these crocodiles. This is just a regular Sherman, which is definitely not as good as a crocodile. It's... There we go. There is the huge explosion ball of fire. That is a pretty sight. The G goes down as well. The Sherman is in need of repairs, but it's going to easily be able to back away. I believe the AT infantry tried to get a shot in there, but was unable to finish it off. 3 crocodiles, though. 3, really? 3? Do we need that many? I guess you could argue yes, since it looks like it has been very effective. Personally, I think one of those crocodiles was very effective, and the other two, well, one of them is still alive on the field, hasn't done much so far other than acted as a normal Sherman, so the actual flame part of it hasn't been necessary. It's not shown itself yet. It might do later, especially against its infantry squad if it decides to move up. The Stug, though, is a problem, definitely for the crocodile. One of the other Shermans kind of like burnt 2 or 3 guys, then it got zooped, then it was completely and utterly exploded, burning a load of ground nearby, but I don't think it took any infantry with it, so that was definitely a waste. And we didn't need that. Like, it's a team game. If you've got one crocodile, there's this little unknown element of the game called sharing. I know, nobody likes to share their stuff, do they? It's tragic. Once again, we've got a Stuart tank on the field. This is what I wanted to see earlier, by the way, and we've got infantry to support this, which is great. But a flank on the out-of-ammo Brandenburger. I'm not sure you need to flank out-of-ammo Brandenburger. Oyadi really needing help. I would agree with this. Help is much needed mid right now. That mid is so open that both sides are just being flanked from middle. It's an unusual sort of spearhead tactic, but it's so great, especially with these kind of vehicles, which it's okay if they get destroyed. They're relatively inexpensive compared to what they are taking out. That guy gets catapulted away from the Stug, and the Stuart comes crashing through. That Stuart, although it didn't get the kill, it was the crocodile that has now made itself effective. That Stuart definitely would have been able to do a good engine shot round the back. Engines are the vulnerable parts of tanks, usually located at the back of the tank. If you can get behind a tank, get a charged round in there, even the largest and mightiest of tanks will fall to it. The Germans' ticket counter completely stumped at the moment, not even into double digits. 42 for the Americans and going up. There is another point neutralized, and in the last game you may have heard me say that neutralizing points is just as effective as capturing them. That one neutralized point means that the Germans have one less, which means the ticket counter is even higher for the Americans right now. Finally, we are able to take one of the tanks of the Americans. It's not going to be enough, though. We're going to need more than this. Perhaps the Germans could be doing something late game. Now, we've had a lot of casualties, armor casualties. We've had a considerably huge loss from losing those 2 H's early on. If there is enough manpower in the bucket for the Germans and hero points, now I definitely know they have sufficient hero points to bring out some veteran tigers. Will it be enough, though? A veteran tiger would be able to... There is an AT grenade sneaker right around the bushes. I honestly did not think that he was going to be able to chuck that AT grenade. The turret started turning on the tank, and then it just suddenly stopped, like it was just ignoring the guy. That is a shame. That's why we need infantry always to be protecting the tanks. And that was good use of the environment as well, sneaking around in that forest. We have a Maxim appearing over here. I don't believe the Maxim is going to be able to do much. But I guess we shall see. The crocodile is back and fully repaired. The Sherman's still there. We've got another Stug coming out onto the field, which I think a Stug is a good response. But did we... if only that other Stug survived earlier on, we could have brought that over to the right-hand side of the battlefield. Hansi has been holding on to his point for as long as possible. That is pretty much all he needs to do on that side of the map as well. That is the side of the map where you are very defensive. Burn, baby! Burn. Going right up, but now there is track damage. Hansi already giving it the GG. 50 points in. Burning all of the trees, making sure there's no guys in there. It does manage to get quite a few Germans in there. AT grenade goes. Will we get that big, incredible boom? It doesn't look like it. The engine is damaged. It's on fire. It's smoking. Sometimes at this point, you may get a huge explosion. Sometimes we'll be hugely and gravely disappointed. That is pretty much the essence of Men of War Assault Squad, is it's a damn good game if there's a lot of explosions and buildings crumbling. There are some really long games on Grand Suburbs and Town. Back in Medal of War Assault Squad 1 videos that I've done, where the whole map is just completely flawed. And, you know, these are like very urban areas. A lot of infantry now are hooking up behind the Lumbar. Hansi now losing his point. It's gonna be hard to get this back. There is now a cover advantage for the Americans. They have this factory area. They're going to be able to easily reinforce this area. They can just put guys in places and just put them in reserves. That is absolutely fine. There is a strategy, a tactic, rather, to just putting some guys in reserve and bringing them in when you need them. It's like the element of surprise almost. It's just not looking good for the Germans right now. We have a Puma out. We have a Lux out. This is an act of desperation, but they are not gonna give up yet. We need more explosions. The Puma should be able to take out this Sherman, in fact. It does have a sufficient enough gun to do that. It has a speed advantage, and that turret is not facing the right way. Goes in, tracks it. Crew is injured. It is stunned. We can get a good side shot in it now. Again, stunned. That turret isn't going to move. We need to look out for an AT grenade, however. That thing is vulnerable. It has wheels. We do get the Sherman. And then the Puma stops. No, this is terrible. This is absolutely awful. The AT grenade hits it straight on the wheel. And just as I was about to mention, wheels will be taken off in this game. If it has a wheel, it can be blown off, and this is not repairable. That is it. That Puma is stuck there. Now, I do kind of wish that the Puma could at least kind of, like, drive around in circles crazy and not be so pathetic in this situation, but it's just, like, it's gone. It's stuck. If you are in one position as any tank, you're pretty much screwed, so you have to get those tracks repaired as fast as possible, and if you don't have tracks to repair, well, what can you do? The Lux out-surviving the Puma miraculously against a Croc. The terrain certainly helping. The Croc, though, is going to have the advantage soon. If it gets up to that hill, I can only hope and pray that there is a Zukau. The Veteran Tiger is now available to purchase. We have one. We have two. I was correct. There is enough hero points in the bank. However, we need... That Puma should have been an infantry squad. That Lux should have been an infantry squad. We have the hero unit tanks, which are superior to the American tanks right now. Whether the Americans can field something like a Jumbo, like a Sherman 76, which could take it out, a Wolf, any number of tank destroyers, or even a Pershing. I don't think there is enough for a Pershing with the amount of Shermans and tanks I've seen on the battlefield. But these Tigers need infantry support. It's on fire. I'm liking that. I'm liking the fire at the moment. The Tiger is going to creep over there. It does have some eyes on the field. It's still dangerously risky, though. That is an easy kill for the Veteran Tiger. The Veteran Tiger has, if I remember correctly, a faster reload time than the regular German Tiger tank that you can field with manpower. That is the Crocodile. Not completely destroyed, but I don't believe it's going to be repaired where it is. This is not good. This is not a good Veteran Tiger driving. Oh, the track is damaged. And that was from that AT gun earlier. That is highly impressive. That is exactly how you want to just try and initiate on a tank. It gets demolished, but it's already been so effective. There are so many good shots on this Tiger tank right now. From the side, into the engine, from the middle. We got another Veteran Tiger, which is just sitting on the hill. It is, again, similarly sort of exposed from the middle. So, really, again, it's the middle which is the problem right now. Perhaps these Veteran Tigers could be positioned to the far left side of the map. The Lux goes in, tries to do whatever it can, and there's that Maxim over there taking out the Lux. It actually fully destroys the Lux as well. In comes... Oh, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see, a Jumbo 76. But look out, it's Von Stelfenator with the Panzerfaust hull damaged. Perfect. Maybe the Germans are still in this game. but it's just so incredibly reliant on these veteran Tigers at the moment, and they need the infantry to support it. We could perhaps finish this off, by the way. These guys are completely unaware. Go in, do some fisticuffs. There is melee in this game. You can throw daggers, for crying out loud. That is fucking awesome. A Greyhound comes in. A Greyhound. Is it going to be able to finish off this veteran Tiger? One shot. It doesn't kill the Greyhound. Why is the turret not looking in the correct way? Two shots doesn't kill that Greyhound. That increased reload time is really working out. Engine damage. The turret is not in a position now. Whoa, what's going on? Why? Strauss, you weren't meant to shoot our tank. He's completely confused at the situation. He has just destroyed any chance of winning this game. This western side of the map, the western fronts, will now just completely fall with no Tiger tank there. Which means this left-hand veteran Tiger, which was doing well, look, Hansi has managed to take this point. He's not going to be able to protect his flank now. There's no veteran Tiger to stop armor coming in. This forest is completely infested with Americans. Before it had even started. Just right when the comeback had started. Jeopardized is the word I was looking for. US Marines from the Americans, pretty solid infantry hero points. Some people like to save that up later to use when most people are just fielding like pretty, lame infantry, whatever they can muster out just to get infantry out on the field, and then suddenly US Marines come rocking in and you're like, oh, how do I do this? A fine Zuka shot, but it pales in comparison to Strauss. I think he might get demoted if he is not already dead in this. In comes, by the way, an M26 Pershing. This, a TNT? Is not going to kill it, though. Please, Hansi begs and pleads with the lords of Men of War for it to work, but you can hear the Pershing in the background. It's okay. It's the worst case scenario. In fact, getting a whirlwind was probably the worst case scenario you could do in this situation. That Pershing is just gonna gobble that one up. And you can see right now that the Americans have gone, right, you've just blew your veteran Tigers. Before that, you brought a Lux and a Puma on the field. There is no way that you're going to be able to counter our tanks right now. We could bring any tanks to the field and you are screwed. They've correctly recognized this weakness that the Germans have. Unusually, this is definitely an unusual circumstances that the Germans don't have the armor advantage. Thanks to Strauss, of course, thanks to Strauss. But now we have one veteran Tiger on the field. Which is still okay, it's still fine. Hansi hasn't cocked that one up. But there's an M26 on the field, and the Pershing will definitely be able to beat that veteran Tiger, I believe. In fact, it just goes to the middle. It's ignoring that veteran Tiger completely. It might be able to get a side shot in. I did warn earlier, it's going to go for the Stug, in fact, which was still on the battlefield, but not for long. A tank just appearing in the middle would have been able to take out the veteran Tiger on the west and east side. The way that they were both facing left them very, very vulnerable. The Stug actually walking out of this, or driving out of this one. But congratulations to Chinito, Demon, and Sinto on that one. That was unusual, wasn't it, Strauss? Yes. Okay, guys, some final words. Remember that the Men of War Assault Squad 2 sale is on right now, unless it is past Friday, in which case you may have missed it. Last chance to get it. I will be doing some more Men of War videos. I hope you enjoy the highlights. See you around for the next game. My name is Anuki. Good night.